It's Memorial Day weekend, so Kathy and I decided to get out of town and do some riding. But before we were able to challenge terrain like this, I needed to address the injury to my back. Luckily, our chiropractor, Dr. Gerald Ferencz, was able to make a house call and give me a quick adjustment so we can hit the road for the Memorial Day weekend.
The quarantine rules are starting to get lifted, so we decided we needed a change of scenery. So this weekend we headed to the sleepy town of Hurricane, Utah for some epic mountain biking. Our first ride took us to the Hurricane Imba Epic Route. This route takes us along the rim of the Virgin River. This route also featured beautiful views of the classic southern Utah red rocks.
This route is mostly flow trail with a few technical sections thrown in for good measure. And of course, the scenery is gorgeous. Wherever you looked, it was either desert landscapes or red rocks or the river below. It was absolutely spectacular. But even though the views were amazing, you couldn't get distracted because you had to focus on the job at hand. One of the best groomed, fastest flow trails southern Utah has to offer. This was definitely one of my favorite trails that I've ever been on. It was one of my highlights of the trip, and I can't wait to come back.
That was amazing! The next day we went to ride the infamous Gooseberry Mesa trails. This ride takes us up to the top of these cliffs.
Calm before the storm, here we go. Follow the white dots.
This ride was 13 miles of almost entirely cratered slick rock, which proved to be difficult in places.
I got nothing. This is pretty freaking spectacular. This is a section of the South Rim Trail that they call the Edge of the World. And there's a reason, a very good reason, why they call it the Edge of the World. It's about 1,000 feet down, 10 feet to the left of where Kathy is riding in this video. After getting beaten up by the technicality of the South Rim Trail, the North Rim Trail was a welcome experience as it was a little bit more manageable.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
But the views were even more spectacular. You had these sandstone, slick rock bowls and alleyways and these difficult features to climb and get over, or sort of get over. Then we hit the Bowls and Ledges Trail, which was even more fun, slick rock and challenging features to get up and down and around. If the first part, the South Rim Trail, was a technical crash course, literally, by the second half we were finding our footing and having fun. But Gooseberry has a way of humbling you.
And while the trails were a lot of fun, there were also quite a few challenging sections.
You okay?
On Memorial Day, we drove out to Zion National Park, which just opened up to visitors.
Zion National Park, and it is just, they have a lot of the park closed, but we're at one of the trails from the entrance, and this is, if you don't come here once in your life, you're really missing out. This is a must bucket trip for anyone. It is absolutely gorgeous. I want to swing around. Let's swing around this way because it's the sun's rising. It's still a little early. It's not that early, but it's still a little early. And the sun,
cold.
It's a little cold, and the sun just rising through the valley is just spectacular.
So I just went for my run. It was a good run. Probably the most scenic run I've ever been on. I'm just happy that we're fit enough to be able to come out here and for 3 days, you know, do some epic rides and then some hikes and runs. And it's great. I mean, it makes all the training worth it.
It does. I mean, it's not all racing. It's not all, you know, just grinding up hills and, you know, doing intervals and sprints and hill climbs. Sometimes it's about just getting out in nature and having a great time while you're doing it.